Alright guys, it's Tuesday about 3:20. Hayden and I have arrived on our install. So what a week it's been. Friday we had pretty much the first snow of the year here in North Carolina. I got snowed in on my first job, had to leave my trailer there over the weekend, and I spent the first 2 hours of yesterday beating the ice off a steep curvy driveway to get the trailer out to go do one job yesterday. This was supposed to be done yesterday, but we couldn't make it, so we're out here today. We've got a laminate tear out. It's a small little job. Not too bad at entrance. I'll show you the entrance as we come into the home, and just like always, I'll show you any problems we run into and how we work through them. I don't foresee it to be too awfully bad, but you never know. We got the floor covered up, and we've got our ramp set out over the stairs here, and we're going to get started. We're going to pull our tear out box in, tear these things out, and we'll put our laser level on there, see what the cabinets look like, and then we'll start bringing the tops in. Lord willing, everything will go good. So I'm explaining this to Hayden. I'm going to go ahead and put it in the video as well. Anytime I have a laminate tear out and there's laminate on the wall, I always go ahead and ask the customer, do they want me to pull the laminate off of the wall? Anybody that's torn it off before knows this little bead right here. On the back side, it goes at least a half to 3/4 an inch behind this laminate here. So when you go to pull that out, it breaks it down here. You know, if they're going to get a 4-inch backsplash or maybe like a 4-inch tile or something, it doesn't matter. But if they're trying to save the laminate, it's going to look ugly if they're not putting any backsplash or anything. That being said, I have still had customers get mad at me for going ahead and pulling this off and not asking. So I ask all the time now, and I was just going to explain to Hayden why we asked, so I figured I'd go ahead and put it in the video. But that's why we asked Hayden. Alright guys, it's 4:07. The tear out is done. So I'm getting ready to put the laser level on here and kind of see what we're working with. Okay guys, I've got the laser on here and the cabinets don't look too bad out of level. You know, rarely do I ever see any that's perfect, but these don't look too bad. The island sits a little higher than the perimeter, but nobody ever noticed that but me. So all in all, it looks pretty good. Alright guys, it's now 5:23. We got all the tops in. This material Sedna, I had this all cut one piece, but the size of it and just we got a lot of new hands on it. I thought it was better to cut a seam in it, so went ahead and just popped a seam in it for safety. If you guys have worked with this stone, you know how it is. So I always put my level on here, and it's looking good. You know, I try not to put things over dishwasher. I didn't really have a lot of options here, but I'm all the way over on this side here, and I got supports all the way around. Alright guys, this is a really hard thing to get. It's got multiple colors in it. So I'm going to start with a base color, something like this here. And then I'll add colors to it as we go. Alright, so I went ahead and made up kind of a buff gray base. And then I've got some of that burnt orange look around here. So we'll see if we can make this bad boy invisible, guys. Alright, so I just went through, you know, the seam situation with Hayden and how we do it. As you can see, we went ahead and put our base color in here, and then we put our secondary color in here. And we use our Aardwolf joint setter and pulled this bad boy together. Shout out to Aardwolf for sending me this bad boy. It's been a great tool. I highly recommend anybody that's thinking about getting one to get it. I've only charged the battery once. It's silent, man. This thing, it's awesome. Nothing against the Gorilla Grip joint setter I used to use, but man, I haven't pulled them out in months and months since I've been using these, so I recommend them. Alright, the seam hardened up and I scraped it. I mixed me a little skim coat. I made it more gray. And I've already put it on there. You can see, see it piling up there. But the seams turned out really, really well. You can't even hardly see it here. And then once I spot it up black, it'll disappear. Alright guys, so we ran into a little issue here. As I was laying out my faucet hole, normally go 2 inches back to the hole. You know, there's my 2 inches. I actually didn't even go the full 2 inches because I was trying to not go that far back. You know, they've got a pretty good size sink here. I actually went 4.5. Set back on the front to give them a little more strength on this sink. Plus they've got some wood that's coming out in the front here that if I hadn't went 4.5, we would have had some issues getting the sink centered properly. So they've got this, I don't even know what this is called, the window sill area. But you know how some of them are built in and then the window sits on top of it? They're lucky here because that's not the case. This is just cut. I don't know if you can tell. And it's just nailed in here. So before drilling the hole, I brought the customer up and showed them the situation. They're pretty cool. They're pretty laid back. And what I recommended was, you know, put it on a table saw or something and cut about 1 inch off this back here. And then you can, you know, whatever you cut the same amount off these ears here, and then you pop that right back in. And there's nothing to it. You could cut it off the front here, but that's the finished piece of the wood. So, you know, then you have an issue there and it's not going to look as nice and pretty. But, you know, they're getting tile. They may want to cut these ears square anyways. I think if I was getting tile around here, I think I would just go square with those ears instead of trying to notch them off. Then they just got to cut that inch off the back. But it's their house. I'm just talking here, guys. And I just kind of show you the issues and what we go through. But I highly recommend if you run into a situation like that, you alert the customer to it, show them what's going on, get their okay. It's always better to do that than to just do your thing, you know, hope they don't see it before you leave, and you know, then get a call later and be like, well, I had to do it, blah, blah, blah. Just show them, man. Just be straight up and show them. So as always, I scored my faucet hole, made a little bit of dust, cleaned it off, put the tape on there. Then I took my little piece of pipe here, put my silicone on the bottom, put my water in there. And now I've drilled it like 3/4 the way down. Now I'm going to suck some of that water out there so when I burst through, that water don't go all in their cabinet. All right, we drilled the faucet hole. I'm going to go ahead and pop this window sill out for them to make it easier on them. And that way I can also check the faucet hole and make sure it fits. So I went ahead and grabbed my pry bar here, guys, and I just started prying up. As you can see, that's only in there with a couple of nails. Just popped it right out. And I can just trim that back off. So as you can see, the faucet fits perfectly in the hole, centered up to the window. They've got this big, basically a bolt on it, and it looks like it ain't gonna fit, but they do fit perfectly in there. Alright guys, just like always, I get nervous when I talk and forgot to do my final video, so I had to come back in. So we've completed the job, went over aftercare and all that, and cleaned up. Took me longer than I thought it would. It is 8:30 right now, so just kind of wanted to show you guys everything. Here's the seam, which I put a few little spots in that. I think it turned out really good. So I used 3 different shades of epoxy in it. And then of course you see me just spot it up there. As you can see, you can't even see the thing. Sitting right on top of it, you can't see it. Sink's mounted fine, no issues there. I'll put the stove and everything back in place. So all in all, a pretty easy install. The customers were good. They let us do our work, stayed out of our way, nice as they could be. So no complaints for me here. I appreciate you guys watching. If you have any questions, feel free to leave it down in the comments, and I'll do my best to answer it. And I'll see you guys on the next one.